Next question. I think this is the fourth question. Marshall's Ramblin' wants to know, counter rotation is helping me get separation, but making it hard to see target. Tips. That's funny you mentioned that, dude. I just completed a chapter in my book on trunk rotation mechanics in which I was talking about trunk counter rotation. Is it good or is it bad? So I will never say like one thing is completely 100% absolute wrong or 100% absolute right when it comes to pitch mechanics, because I think deep down, like we kind of determine what mechanical efficiency is for our own self, if that makes sense. But I will say I see a lot of guys trying to force counter rotation of their trunk, which is then causing almost a cervical rotation restriction that is then compensating for like an over aggressive rotation of the upper half, right? Because the brain and the body are extremely smart and adaptable to the environment. The brain knows what the task is. It's signaling to the body how to complete that task to the best it knows how. So when you force like a counter rotation, and when I say force counter rotation, I kind of am leaning towards the meaning of like forcing like a lot of trunk counter rotation. When you do that, you're obviously going to be limited to what you can see with your eyes, because your neck can only rotate so much. And we live in a media day and age where a lot of people are on their phones like this, and you're just naturally probably going to have poor cervical rotation. So when that happens and then you get into your drive phase, your brain at some point has to signal like to your body, like, yo, we got to freaking go. Like we got to rotate so we can actually see where this thing is going. We got to see where we're expressing this energy. So that's what's going to then send that signal of like, oh, we got to go. And I've seen a lot of times where you create early counter rotation, which then gives you a window of segmentation and separation, creating stretch, but it kind of all goes for naught because you create that segmentation, you create that stretch before you anchor down into the ground. So separation created before anchor point is kind of useless energy, so to speak. Now, Marshall, I'm saying all this without seeing you throw, so don't take that as absolute, because it could be a great thing. And maybe, I guess a whole nother talking point to this question is the fact that like, I don't know if I believe that you do have to see the target, because I believe that like, if you do it enough times, your body knows how to do it. And like Greg Maddox always threw bullpens with his eyes closed. Like obviously visually it helps, but I could do a whole segment on like picking up the target late, taking your eyes away from the target for a set amount of time helps your command, all these different things. It's all about what works for you and implementing those things to see that on your own. But that's what I got for trunk counter rotation. And that will be more talked about in my new ebook.